All right, welcome back everybody. So today I'm gonna be installing the Vette No Flex frame stiffener kit. So a couple weeks back, I put on the camber brace on the car and it really kind of stiffened it up and it felt really good. And me just not being able to leave anything alone, I just kind of went down the rabbit hole and ordered that. So that came in, and the only thing with that, if you guys don't know, the kit is for like 86 to 96, right? So anybody with 84 and 85, in typical fashion, it's not a bolt up available. The same way with the coilovers, when I did that, there was nothing available for them. And here we are now with another product that's not meant for 84, 85 cars. But good news is we are gonna figure out a way to make this work on the cars. I have a pretty good idea. I know there's one way I've seen somebody do before, but I think of a different little route that I wanna go, just so it kind of bolts on and off and you don't have to permanently weld it onto your frame. But I'll get to that and I'll show you here in a minute. So we'll look at everything real fast. I'll show you kind of like my plan, and then we'll just start mounting it on the car and go from there. Okay, so I have everything laid out. So if anybody doesn't know about this kit, supposedly it is one of the best solutions for curing any rattling or chassis flex. So it has a lot of really good reviews on it. Like I said, it's 86 to 96, mainly when they came out with convertible, these front brackets bolt onto the cross member. So there's factory nuts in the frame that these would bolt directly up to. That's why 84, 85, there's no kit for it, because you can't bolt these up. This is a direct bolt on kit with a little bit of modification, but nothing big. So I'll show you all these parts here. These are the front brackets here. So this goes right behind the front wheel there, and then the rear one goes in front of the rear wheel. Where your front control arms go, there's a bracket of the frame. These bolt to that, and this hangs down, and this hangs down, and in between that goes one of these with heim joints on either end. And the whole idea behind it is, once this is installed, you tighten these down and puts the frame in compression, stiffening the whole chassis up. So that's the whole science behind all of that. So the only thing that we're really gonna run into with a problem is mounting these front brackets here. So I'm gonna show you in 1 second my solution that I'm gonna do, unless we run into something else, but I have a plan for these. So besides the brackets for left and right frame rails, 2 rods that are pre-threaded. The bag comes with all the hardware that you need to install it. Heim joints, you know, all the mounting hardware for the brackets and stuff like that. And it also comes with instructions as well. So my plan to mount these is to use nut certs. My plan is to put this up at the frame rail, transfer punch, little holes in here, drill these out, use these nut certs in there, and then this would be a direct bolt on. So if you ever decide to take it out of the car, you can unbolt it. I did see someone who was on one of the forums who actually welded these on, which isn't a bad idea. I would like to just be able to take it off if I wanted to. And so that's my plan so far. So I bought this nut cert install tool off of Amazon. This is like the 14-inch one. This thing was like $34. They have bigger ones and stuff like that, but I have a feeling I'm gonna use this just for this, and that'll probably be the end of the road for this. So I went with the $35 one because I figured this will probably get the job done. I'll be installing a total of 8 rib nuts in the frame if that works out the way I think it's gonna work out. So I went with that one, and it actually comes with a variety of different nut certs that you can use. It comes with M10 here, and that is the exact bolts that they give you in the kit. So I'm gonna utilize that and these, so I don't have to buy any extra hardware. So that's the plan so far. So now we need the car jacked up. We're gonna install the rear ones first, and I'm gonna put the bars together, and then once I have the rear ones installed, I'm gonna use that to dictate where this is gonna go in the car, mount that up there, you know, transfer punch these holes into the frame, then drill it out and mount that. So that's the plan so far. So we'll get it up in the air and get working. Okay, so I'm underneath the driver's side rear here. So this is the bracket, and this is gonna go up and mount onto here. So we're gonna take this out first. I also kind of noticed, you kind of wiggle it up in between the emergency brake cables. I also noticed there's a lip of this plastic wheel well hanging over, which I'm going to trim back maybe 3/16 of an inch or so. I have a feeling it's going to hit that when it's all the way up there. I don't know if you can see there. So I'm going to trim that back, take this bolt out, and once you kind of mock this up in here with this here, you're going to put a hole down here, which I'll show you what I'm going to do. Once I get this mocked up in here, I'm going to use a transfer punch to mark my hole, take it back out, and then drill it. All right, so now that I have this bolt out, I did trim this back a little bit, but the bracket's still hitting. I ended up taking the two 13mm bolts that hold on the e-brake cable mounts. There's one that's underneath here and the one over here, just to give me some more room here while I'm mounting this in here. So now I'm gonna actually just try to cut a little bit more out of this to get the bracket in there correctly. So I have just my cutoff wheel here. I'm just gonna cut off maybe about 1/4 of an inch just to clean it up a little bit. All right, as you can see, I actually cut it flush with this flange from the rocker panel here, and that gives me enough room. So now I'm gonna just slide this up in here like this. And just keep an eye on these because these are putting some pressure on the bracket. So you wanna almost have this thing squared up the best you can. And then run this top bolt back in. Just get it square along the frame rail here so it lines up with this flat flange, and then tighten the bolt down. You don't have to get crazy, but just tighten it down enough. All right, so at this point, we have to make a hole here. So what I'm gonna use is a 7/16 transfer punch. See that? You can get these off of like Amazon or Harbor Freight, or any tool place should sell them. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in here like this, and then give it a whack. And there's my little hole right in there. So I'm gonna take this back off and I'm gonna drill that out with the 7/16 drill bit, and then that's where our bolt will go back in. All right, I'm gonna start off with a small drill bit and make a pilot hole, and then I'm gonna do probably one more step up and then do the 7/16 drill all the way through there. I have my hole drill to size there, so I'm just gonna actually spray a little bit of spray paint around the bare metal there on either sides. Just to cover it up from rusting. And now I'm gonna go ahead and let that dry, and then I'm gonna bolt the bracket back up. All right, once that's all tightened down, we can go ahead and move to the other side. All right, so I'm gonna start threading in these Heim joints. So just keep in mind, one side of the link here is left-hand thread and the other side is right-hand thread. So when you twist it, it'll actually tighten inwards. So the rule of thumb with like a Heim joint is roughly like 3 threads sticking out. Now, because we have to actually find the location of the front bracket, I'm gonna leave maybe an extra thread and a half sticking out, because I'm not sure how much we're gonna have to tighten it in to get the correct tension. So I'm gonna do about 4 threads hanging out on each end past the nut here. And then I'm also gonna use some anti-seize on the threads of these. So I'm gonna run these in now and then hook them up in the back. All right, so I'm gonna start here with the back. I'm gonna run the bolt up in here just to get it kind of in place. And then I'm gonna hook the front mount bracket up and then try to find a place on the frame for it. Okay, so this is pretty much the biggest problem that you're gonna run into here. So I have this bracket piece clamped roughly where it's supposed to go. And from center line to center line, it's roughly 4 inches off. So what I've seen online, somebody did was they cut and added and sectioned onto this link here. So I came up with a different solution. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna section out this bracket here, and I had made these brackets like this, and I'm gonna just weld them in and clean them up and smooth it all out, so it'll actually just lengthen this over to there, and it's the same thickness, same diameter hole I just drilled in it, and we'll just round the edges. I'll metal finish the outside so it looks just like one continuous piece going over this way here. So I'm gonna go ahead and bolt these to the link, make some marks here, and then get these tacked in and check it again. Okay, so now you see that's the actual main issue that we're gonna run into now for the 84 and 85 cars. Not only is it the attaching point to the frame itself, it's the actual length. So 4 inches is the magical number. So I'm obviously gonna use metal that I have here to modify that front bracket. The other option would be to get a longer link. 4 inches longer would do the trick if you had that as an option. But for me, it's easier just to modify that bracket, which we're gonna do in the next video. So hit that like button and we'll see you in part 2.